Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of Ash to Dusk. My name is Ashley Marina and I am your host. This is where we grab our comfy clothes, a comfy blanket, find a cozy corner in our home, or maybe we need to find quiet time in our car, sitting in a parking lot somewhere, and just reconnect with ourselves, dive into some conversation, and check in with each other. And I want to say welcome and thank you for being here. There are so many new people who have joined our community, and I just want to say thank you. I'm so glad that you're here. All right. So before we get into today's conversation, let's just talk about this past week. I recorded the last podcast in a rental car in Alabama. So if you didn't have a chance to watch it or listen to it, it's only 10 minutes. Um, Go ahead and check it out. It's something fun and different than what you're used to. Typically, you see me sitting here in this chair or somewhere in my office, but it was fun recording the podcast episode in the car. So I was in Birmingham. Actually, it was Vestavia Hills, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham. And I was there for a speaking engagement and I love it. First of all, Alabama, if anyone here is watching from Alabama, I love you guys. You have been home away from home for me because when I started my speaking journey, you all embraced me so fast and showed me so much love. For the past couple of years that I've been going around the country speaking, majority of it has been in Alabama, whether it had been the school nutrition state conference or it was back to school trainings. You all keep coming. Y'all, I know, right? Like we joke about that and how different we talk, but y'all keep bringing me back down. And I absolutely love Alabama and I love each and every one of you. So just a little side note, but I was in Alabama for a speaking engagement. And here's the thing. When I first started speaking a couple of years ago, one of my very first keynotes that I had ever done was with 400 people. Now, I had done a couple before that, but this was like an official one, and it was in Mississippi. And I thought, I really need to go get dressed up for this. I need to go find an outfit that makes me look legit. I went to White House Black Market. I spent so much money on a suit. Honestly, money that I didn't have for the suit, but I did because I thought it would make me look more professional and worth the amount that they were paying me. I bought Jessica Simpson really cute high heel shoes and all the things. And I felt confident in that moment. And I've shared with you about how you can dress for success, dress for the job that you want, the life that you want. And I did. That outfit made me feel confident and helped me get through that presentation. But what I quickly have realized when I first started speaking was that I, although when I put that outfit on, it makes me feel more confident, it does, I am not comfortable. I'm not comfortable because if you know me in real life, you know that you're going to catch me with either sweatpants or jeans on and tennis shoes and like a t-shirt. I don't really get dressed up very often. I love simple and casual. I rarely put on makeup even or I've always been like that for as long as I can remember. So, I promise I'm getting to the point of all of this, but I realized like, gosh, I know I'm gonna have to keep showing up this way for some events and whatnot, but I was really envying my male friends, my guy friends who are in the speaking industry because they show up with either a plaid button up or a t-shirt and jeans and they rock it and they're confident and they do it. And I thought to myself, I'm going to get there one day. So in the summer, I'll wear like a summer dress and I feel great in it and it's comfy, great. And I can put on some wedges and that's awesome. But in the wintertime, I struggle with what to wear because if I wear dress pants, I am not tall enough for the dress pants that they sell in the store because they're always too long. And I'm not short enough to get a short, like a size short. And I don't go and get my pants hemmed. And so, anyways, I don't, if I put dress pants on, I need to wear heels, and I don't want to wear heels. So I started exploring with wearing jeans to events. The one event I wore jeans and I wore a red blazer, for like more of like a confident, powerful color. And then I wore a pair of nude heels. And those heels actually weren't too uncomfortable. They were okay. And so I was like, okay, this is all right. So I wore a pair of jeans. No one hated me. No one was mad or offended by it. Everything was okay. And then I wore black jeans with the blazer and I bought penny loafers. Okay. These penny loafers I've only worn a couple of times. And I know that oftentimes when you wear a brand new pair of shoes, sometimes you just need to break them in. So I'm mindful of that and I wear the no show socks. I'll put either band-aids or I've just recently been introduced to the hydro gels. And I'll do that. So the first couple of times I wore the shoes, they hurt my feet and it was awful. So I was going to Alabama this past week and I was like, okay, I'm going to just wear the shoes and my black jeans and a blazer because it's a 3 hour session. Doing a 3 hour session is hard. And when I say hard, for many reasons, staying hydrated, having enough stamina, enough energy for the session, keeping your audience engaged. So if I wore a pair of heels and dress pants, it's not going to be the experience that I want. So I wore those penny loafers and I even prepared for it. So I made a vlog of my day and that will be posted soon and you'll be able to see that. And even in my vlog, I show myself taping up the back of my heels, putting on my no-show socks, and putting my feet into the penny loafers, like for my outfit and like taking off to go to the school. During my presentation, I was having the audience do something and I turned around, or actually, we were on a break. That's what it was. We were on a break and I took a drink of water and I happened to look down and I seen the tape that I had on my heels coming out of my shoes. God only knows how long my feet, like those band-aids were hanging out of my shoes. So that's embarrassing. But I quickly like ripped them off and I was like, whatever. My feet were already hurting. And I figured I've got 2 more hours to go. There's nothing I can do. I just need to push through. I pushed through. My heels are wrecked. I've never had my heels like this before. Truly, I can't, the pain to shower, like, so I have been using silver gel and hydrogel pads, like everything right now to get my heels to a point where I can put shoes on and socks and it not be painful. So that was part of my week with this back to school keynote. The funny thing then on top of this is I never thought I would be sharing anything about feet on my social media or with you, but here I am. And then my son texts me when I'm in Alabama and he sends me a feet pic, okay? Not that kind. But what he was trying to show me is I bought him a foot mask for Christmas. He loves to wear feet or foot, I don't know how we say it, but he loves to put the mask on his feet. They feel cool. They freshen his feet, make him all soft. He loves it. Okay. And then I give him a little foot rub. And I'm like, dude, I really hope that you find a wife who will love to do this for you because I feel like I've spoiled you and I'm done rubbing your feet. It's kind of like the joke. So he sends me a picture of his feet inside these masks. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like he was using them from Christmas. So, anyways, when I get home, Dawson's like, oh, my feet are itching and stuff. I'm like, we probably need to wash your feet and put on fresh socks because if you're a boy mom, hygiene is not always at the top of the priority list. So I was like, wash your feet and put on fresh socks. Well, the next night, I hear him in his brother's room, which is odd because we're all in bed. So I'm like, why? What's going on? I go in there and he's sitting on the floor of his brother's room with a little pile, this is gross, a little pile of skin next to him and he's peeling his feet. I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, Mom, my feet are burning. They won't stop peeling. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh. And I go to look at his feet. I am pretty certain that it wasn't a foot mask that I got him. It was a peel. Well, here was the thing. When he put that on, he fell asleep and he wore that peel all night long. His feet are burned at the top, peeling. We're a wreck over here. So that just took the first 10 minutes of this podcast to talk about feet. I am so sorry, but that is the whole point of the podcast. Ash to dusk, the beginning and the end of our day, the beginning and end of our life, the messy middle in between. And I think it's important that we just share some glimpses of our life because that's what makes us human. And honestly, that's what's happening right now. My heels, as I'm sitting here crisscrossed applesauce on my chair, they are burning, and that's all I can think about. So, yeah, we've got issues over here, but we're good. All is good. And yeah, it was a great week. It was a great week in Alabama. It was a great week of just work. And I took a couple of months off from speaking. My first year, I booked up so many speaking engagements, and I was excited by that because I didn't even know I could get one. And I said yes, and I kept saying yes. But what was happening is I was traveling all the time. And it was a little bit too much away from my family. So this year I said, okay, I'm going to just do back to school events and then I'll sprinkle in a couple in between. But I'm really just going to focus on back to school events and maybe a couple of conferences. So it's been a few months, which means I haven't been on an airplane for a few months either. And so I was actually a little bit excited to get on the plane. And if you don't know, if you're brand new here, I have had a fear of flying my entire life to the point where I'd have panic attacks. I'd have to like get off the plane. And now I fly around the country quite often and I'm getting better. So that was another exciting highlight of my week was that I was able to get on these airplanes and just relax for the most part. There was a moment where my watch was going crazy because it was like, your heart rate is over 120 and you're just sitting down. It's like, I know I'm on an airplane, but I'm okay. Okay. So let's actually talk about what I wanted to today. And that is, I'm finishing up a coaching experience for you. I am so excited for this. I feel like this coaching thing has been a part of my DNA for a long time. When I first started Project School Nutrition, the whole idea was to create coaching courses for school nutrition professionals. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole with that. And I started an app for school nutrition professionals. And then I ended up selling my share of that to my business partner. And then, anyways, I'm doing the coaching thing. It's what I'm meant to do, whether it be in a school kitchen or in personal growth. And so I'm creating this. I'm so excited. In the process, I had asked all of my email subscribers. If you're not on my email list, this is a great time to go do that. If you go to ashleymarina.com, sign up for my email. I'm going to send you a free little guide, like a nice little reset, but sign up. I don't spam you. You get 2 emails a week, one on Sunday to just kickstart your week, one on Wednesday, which is more about like wellness that our dietitians put together for you, totally free. But I asked my email list, which is there's almost 6,000 of you on there. I asked my email list to take a survey to help me really hone in on how I want this experience to be. And I got quite a few responses, and I was reading them the other night again, like I've been going through this, and I want to pick this one for our topic today because I think it's going to resonate with a lot of you. The question I had asked was, if nothing changed over the next 6 months, what would worry you the most? And I had really good, honest and raw comments, but the one I want to talk about is this. The response was, why am I still doing a job that no longer makes me happy? And this is such a good one because I think, especially for women, but honestly, anybody, but I think, especially for women, we stay put where we're most comfortable because it doesn't disrupt anybody else. We're pleasing everyone. It's comfortable to us. It's stability. And oftentimes we're the ones taking care of the household and our families. And so if we get a job and it works, it pays the bills, we don't question anything because it fits our schedule. But I actually think most of the time we will get a job and we are so excited for it. Maybe it's the first time we've been out of the home for a few years after raising children. Maybe it's a job that fits our children's needs. And I think about school nutrition specifically. A lot of people who work in school nutrition, it works really good for their schedule with their kiddos. But what happens is you'll spend years at a job and you out of nowhere one day think, what the heck am I doing? And it might not even be so much that you don't like the people or the job itself. You just start really questioning yourself. And I think that when that happens, that is your inner voice saying, it's time for a change. I'm ready to grow. And for this person who asked that question or who said, like, in 6 months, I would be worried that I'm still at a job that it doesn't make me happy. You keep contemplating this, probably, if I had to guess, just because I've been there, you're contemplating this because you know that if you go to make a career change to go somewhere else, it's going to disrupt what's already going well. And that is that you show up to work, you're taking care of your family, and that's it, right? So I want you to kind of sit with that for a minute. If you're showing up to a job that you don't love anymore, doesn't make you happy, why are you still there? Ask yourself that. Why are you still there? Is it because it pleases everyone else? Is it because you love the people there? Is it because it's in your comfort zone and you're so afraid to go outside of your comfort zone? You're meant for more. You're meant to grow. It's okay to outgrow your job, my friend. I have outgrown many jobs. When I became a food service director, I thought that would be the job that I would have for the rest of my life. I loved it. I was excited about it, all the things, until suddenly I woke up one day and I thought, man, I'm meant for more, which was ironic because all I kept thinking about when I was a receptionist was, wow, I wonder what it would be like to be an administrator one day and to make a little bit more money and to have benefits. And I always that was like something I was like, oh, that would be the goal to attain, which was to become an administrator of the school district. And then I got it. And then I went into it for a few years and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm ready for the next thing. It's okay to outgrow yourself. It's okay to outgrow that. I loved everything about my job. I loved the people I worked with. I'm still sad about not working with some of the people that I did. It because it felt like family to me. They felt like family to me. And so leaving was really, really hard. But on the other side of that fear is freedom. And I said that in my podcast episode just the other day. You're holding the key to the cage that you keep yourself in. There is freedom on the other side of fear, but you keep holding yourself back and you keep giving all these excuses and reasons why it won't work. I'm not saying it won't be hard. I'm not saying it won't be uncomfortable. It's just you're the one that's holding yourself back. If you're stuck at a job that you don't like, is it easy to say, go find another one? Yeah, of course, it's easier said than done. And I've been in situations where I've worked jobs that I didn't love, that caused me a great deal of anxiety, but I did them because that's what paid the bills. I can specifically remember being a collections representative. Like I was a bill collector. Now, I've been on the receiving end of bill collection calls, but for 2 years, I worked as a bill collector. And it was great because at that time, the company paid bonuses if you hit your goals. You got gift cards, and I would get hundreds of dollars in gift cards a month, and I would put that towards groceries. I made an okay living doing that, and it worked for a little bit, but I hated that job. I hated having to call people and they would tell you these like sad stories. They'd hang up on you. And it just, when I got to year two, I put in my 2 week notice, but honestly, I didn't even finish my 2 week notice because I was that tapped out from the job. And I don't think you should wait to get to that point either because that's not going to do anyone any good. But I understand why you're afraid to change because you haven't made enough change in your life to trust yourself that everything will be okay on the other side. You just haven't done that enough. You haven't made enough of those decisions to trust yourself to know that it will be okay. And I can also think back when I was 14 years old and I started working at 14. I worked at a butcher shop. And this was an old school meat shop, butcher shop, whatever you want to call it. And during hunting season, the men would show up with their trucks and they had dead deer in the back. And one of my jobs was to help them drag the deer off the truck, tag the deer, drag it into the building, and then the butcher would process the meat, and I had to package. And oh my gosh, it was disgusting. Okay, disgusting. And when my mom would pick me up and I would go home, I couldn't even go in the house because I smelled so bad. She would make me strip my clothes in the garage before I could go in the house. And I'm sharing that with you because that was my first experience working, and it was also at a job that was, I, I don't want to say I didn't love it, because like I like the people, but I did not like working with just all of that raw meat all the time and just smelling like it and having blood on me and just feeling gross. I didn't love it. But here's what I did love about it is that I had a goal in mind. And my goal was that I was going to move out of my house when I turned 18 years old, come hell or high water. I was 14 then, but I wanted out of my house. I wanted freedom. I wanted to be able to call my shots. And for me, the thing with that job is that although I didn't love the job, I loved getting paid. I had a goal that when I turned 18, I was going to move out of my house come hell or high water. And so no matter what, I was willing to take on any job that I could take on so that I could get to that goal. And maybe you lost sight of the goal that you had in mind, or maybe you don't have a goal at all. Maybe you just have poured so much into your family that you kind of lost yourself along the way. And so you're showing up to this job that you no longer love anymore. And that's okay. It just means that you've outgrown it and you're ready for something more. But you're so afraid of what will happen because you're afraid of what other people will think if you quit your job. I've shared this with you before. When I gave up my job as a food service director, that meant giving up a salary and giving up benefits. And my family and friends were like, "Are you crazy? Are you okay? Are you sure you want to do this? Do you know that you have 3 kids?" Um, Everyone else's fear was all of a sudden something I was owning and consuming, and really was just they were projecting their insecurity and their fear onto me because the only thing that they ever knew was getting a paycheck every other week from a company that they work for, instead of thinking about, wait, there is a possibility to make more money while also living more in your purpose, and that can look like owning your own business. So I want to just caution you, you are going to decide sooner than later that it is time for a career change. And not everyone's going to be in your corner for that. Some people are going to think you're crazy. And it's okay to just let their information kind of come and go and really trust your gut and your instinct on what you should be doing next. Because, my friend, when you are filled, when your spirit is filled, when you are emotionally fulfilled, and you are living in your purpose, every single person around you is going to benefit from that. But if you're not, then your family and friends also suffer from that because you're not going to show up and be the best version of yourself. So I love that that person was so honest to say that they worry about in 6 months from now that they're still going to show up to a job that no longer makes them happy. And I know that she is not the only person who is feeling that way, that someone else watching this is. So I want to give you a couple of tips before you up and quit your job. Have some sort of a plan, a little bit of a plan, right? Because we know that we have the bills to pay, so it's not just so easy. Put together a resume. Use ChatGPT to help you with that. Write a resume, get something put together. Think about all the achievements that you've done. It might feel small, but still tell AI all the things you've done. Put together a resume. And then I want you to start thinking about, what are the type of people you want to work for? Do you want to work for a small business? Do you want to work for a corporation? Do you want to work for a nonprofit? Do you want to work for a school district? Do you want to work for a church? Do you want to start your own business? You kind of have to start there. Who do you want to work for, or do you want to start your own thing? And then from there, you need to take small steps to start getting yourself surrounded with people in those different areas. So for me, when I started Project School Nutrition, my own business, I met with a mentor, a friend of mine, pretty regularly, and I am grateful to him. A big shout out to Lincoln Yee with International Food Solutions because he runs a multi-million-dollar business. When I say multi, like numbers we can't even think about. And he still made so much time to talk with me, meet up with me in person, go over what it meant to have a break even point and all the things before I even knew what Project School Nutrition was going to be, because I had an idea to like start a grocery store where we would serve underprivileged people and teach them how to cook. And I had all these different ideas, but he took time to meet with me. And sometimes you just have to ask for help. You have to be willing to receive the help. And the next thing you know, I started connecting with other people in the industry and other business owners. And you've got to start surrounding yourself with those people, because I've talked about this before. You're really only going to go as high as the top 5 people you surround yourself with. So I know that you don't have a lot of time. I know this because you are working full time and you're taking care of a family, but you have to make that a priority to make this happen. So that would be my first tip. Or I'm sorry, my second tip. First tip is get your resume. Second tip, figure out what you want to do. Third tip, surround yourself with people in that area. And then you say, Ashley, well, I don't know anybody. Get on social media, start searching, researching that kind of field, those types of people, entrepreneurs, or, you know, school school nutrition directors, whatever it is that you want to do. Start looking up those people, find the Facebook group, start commenting, start asking some questions. That's how you're going to connect with people. And then the next thing you need to do is put a date on the calendar of when your absolute deadline is to quit the job. If you don't have a date in mind, you're never going to do it. You will not do it if you don't put a date on the calendar, because you're always going to put something else and say, oh, well, I can just do this for a few more months because this came up. No, you need to know exactly when your last day is going to be. Get it on the calendar. Now, don't go quit your job without a plan. Don't do that, because then you're going to put yourself in a place that you don't want to be in. And I've done that before. So don't quit a job until you have something somewhat lined up and you know where you're going to go. For me, I was able to start Project School Nutrition because I did have my husband, and not that he makes a ton of money. It was just that we lived in a house where our bills could be completely be covered by his income. Our bills were paid by his income. So we were prepared that if I didn't make any money for a few months, we would be able to do that. Now, that was something I was never familiar with or ever had, because I struggled all my life with money. Um, and so it's not that we could do it for a long time. It's just we knew that we could cut back and be okay for a few months. So that's how I was able to do it. And then as far as health insurance goes, we ended up getting married and I was able to have his insurance, and same with my kids. So I do hear you. Like, it's not just super easy to go start your own thing. But what I will say is that when you've had enough, and you will make it happen and you can do it. So just believe. You have to believe in yourself. I could still hear Diane Warren saying this when I was watching the documentary. Like, you only need one believer, and that believer is you. If you believe it in enough, then other people will start believing in you too. But sometimes they need to see the proof. But for people like us who either want to start a business or make a career change, you have to believe in yourself first. It's the only way the change is going to happen. All right, my friend. So before we close out, I need to remind you of this because I'm so bad at asking. But if you've stuck around this long, I would love for you to take just a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. When you do that, it helps the podcast reach people who are desperately looking for a community to connect with and to just learn more about how they can grow as a person. So if you could please take time to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to go to ashleymorena.com to sign up for my email. But until we meet again, my friend, keep your light burning from ash to dusk.